Can you guess what I spent the afternoon doing today? Oh my goodness! Surprise fabric in a mystery box filled with patterns and ideas and accessories to make some really fun projects. This is fantastic, and I can't wait to share it with you. The best part is taking this fabric collection that is beautiful to begin with, but stylizing it to be my own so it fits my personal taste. I can add some of my own fabrics to it and create a beautiful scrappy quilt. Oh my gosh, I am so excited to share this with you. I'm Leah Louise from Inspired Quilting by Leah Louise, and Mrs. Quilty shared a box with me, and I'm going to share it with you. Not only show you what's inside, but there's a fantastic discount for you too. Check the description below. You don't want to miss it. So let's get started. I want to show you how to make a scrappy quilt from whatever surprise you have. And we are going to put some fabrics together for a gorgeous quilt. 3. Who doesn't love getting a box in the mail that has fabric? That is the absolute best kind. And let me show you what we have. I received a Mrs. Quilty box. They contacted me and said, Leah Louise, we want you to do a demo on your channel about our kit, our box that we send out. This is a subscription box that you can get every month, and we're going to see what's inside. I've not seen this myself. I've never opened one of their boxes, so I am really excited about this. So let me go ahead and get this opened. There we are. And you know what? I think we need a bigger screen. That's perfect. Now you won't miss a thing. Oh, look at this. So I like the box. The first thing I do want to tell you, this is a nice heavyweight box and it fits. So this is going to be great for keeping projects in. I'm always looking for something to tuck my project in so I can tuck it away and store it while I'm waiting for the ideas to finish it or whatever the case may be. So this will come in handy, but you can also use it for other craft ideas. So nice box, great thing. And look at this. Oh my, got a nice little booklet. Ooh, fabric. Let's take a look at the book. And so, this is quite an extensive book. Look at this. And I'm looking to see, we have table of contents, all kinds of things. We've got the welcome and, tradition to modern. We all kind of like that. We have an article on tips. Projects. That's kind of fun. Project 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5. I like that. We're going to have to check out the projects. And here's something about the box. It gives us a breakdown, and it tells you the value. So the value of this box, look at that. My goodness, that's a lot in here. I'm anxious to see. And then here's the fabric, and we're looking at an overview of the projects. And, Mrs. Quilty's tips, expert advice, different ideas for sewing. So this is something that would be great for beginners, but also intermediate quilters, and even some who we think we might be more expert. There's always room to grow. And art quilting. My goodness, I love that. And there's a lot of you out there that do the applique. Perfect. And we've got project 1 and 2. And look at all the instructions on how to make the different projects. Look at all this. Wow. What a little bag. Don't you just love bags? They're such fun. Okay, there is a lot in here. And a yoga mat. Oh my goodness. We need to stretch out our bodies after sitting at that sewing machine all day. We can all use a yoga mat. But look at these great instructions and the diagrams. They're really fantastic. And it shows us what it looks like at the end. And we have a place where we can share and share it online on social media. Look at this. A recipe. It's going to be delicious. And let's see. The glossary. So we're getting some definitions of some different language in the quilting word that you may not be aware of. And what is this here? This is for feedback. If you've noticed anything in the book that needs correction or that needs clarification, maybe you had a question, scan the QR code and just send them a request. That's really nice. What a great customer service. Okay, let's see. How are we going to do this? Well, it's always fun to have a little cute pincushion on your wrist. I didn't think I would use it, but you know, having something like this, which I've seen other people use, reminds me of the red tomato my mom had when I was really young, like 10 years old, learning how to sew at her gold and black Singer machine. We had the red tomato, and I love how nowadays we can put it right on our wrist. That's so fun. And of course the pins, so many pretty pins we can get. This is lovely. Ooh, so we have a little gift bag, and we have some little accessories to make the kit. So everything we need to make the kit's included. That's really awesome. And this looks like some beautiful lavender. Okay, I'm not going to open it yet. It's sealed in the bag. I don't want anything to spill out, but oh my goodness, don't y'all just love the scent of lavender? It is beautiful. And of course, we're waiting on the fabric. Look at this. Oh, wow. So here are 8 fat quarters, but they are, it appears, duplicates of the same. So that's 16 fat quarters. This is 4 yards of fabric. That is fantastic. And look at, I love natural, organic prints. They're my favorite fabrics. And we have, look at, with the flowers and some fun things. Oh, and look at this. Oh, I said flowers here. You know I meant leaves, right? The foliage and the ferns. And then we have some flowers. That's pretty. I like the orange and the yellow. It's very springy. And look at that beautiful blue background. Oh, and look at these cute little guys. Just tiny little bits and some pretty gingham. Look at that. Oh, I like that pink. These are some very pretty fabrics. And you know what? They feel awesome. I love lemons. Oh, look at this. The poppy pods. That's so pretty. Oh my goodness, these are some beautiful fabrics. And like I said, they feel terrific. When I just, open this and put it through my hands, it's soft and crisp, but it's sturdy too. You know how sometimes you can get fabrics and you buy them at the discount store and they're a bit maybe loosely woven and you're afraid they might not hold up? That's not this. These are really awesome. Well, I am going to dig into this and decide what I want to make, and I'll be right back and show you. This is going to be so much fun. Whenever I have a new bundle of fabric, I always like to see what else I can mix in with it from the fabric I already have. And while this is a lovely collection of 8 different fabrics, they go together well and they're going to look pretty together, I want to mix some more into it. And the first thing that popped out was the yellow. There's some pale yellows here. There weren't a whole lot of yellows. There's a bit of orangey yellow, kind of a tangerine color here. And so I wanted to find something with yellow. I was also hoping to get some of this salmony pink, the pale pinks. And so let me show you what I came up with. And funny, the first thing that I found through it all were these, nice greens. And this does have a lot of green, and that could be really pretty to go with a lot of green fabrics. Now, this one is the bit of an olive green that you can see in a couple different places. And this is a bit of the chartreuse, which is fun, but it brings in some other colors, the blue, the orange, and, different colors that are already in the scheme. And I just thought this was cute because it's more flowers and it's a daisy. It's got the coral that's here, and this green sort of, works its way through here. And I think when you have a lot of greens, multiples can mix well because they're different shades, but I'm going to show you one that won't work. This one I really like because it's got, look at that, some bright yellow in there, and the teal background, like this color, that's more blue, but these teals, and then it brings in a darker shade, so we're getting a little more contrast that way. And I really thought this one would work. but not so much, right? It's too blue, and I just don't like the colors against all the others. I don't think that works. And the other one that I pulled that I really don't like is that. And I'm not exactly sure. I think again it's the blue green in here that I'm not liking. This could work, but I'm just not going to go with it. It's kind of not what I prefer. I have enough other options because a lot of the projects for these quilts in the pattern book are small pieces, so I can substitute some of these smaller pieces with these fabrics. But then look at this one. I saw this and I really like it. It's a bit of this little chartreusey green that's throughout here, but that blue is the same blue as here and here. So that just really works well. And I love my batiks. It's always fun to add something in there. So I think that's one that'll work well. And just look how nice that looks together. I really like it. These are the yellows I pulled out. And this one, I think because it's a brighter yellow on a white, I'm not real fond of because, I don't know, the color just doesn't work for me. I don't want that white background. I think there's enough white background that we need another color. This is the first one. It's just basically a watercolor batik, and it's pretty, but it's kind of plain. I want more going on. I pulled this one, actually. I think I like this the best, and primarily because it has the foliage in the background. Can you see that up close? We've got a lot of little batik leaves through here, light and dark, and I think that would work well with all the yellows in here. And I had this one, and I thought, yeah, it's too dull. I'm going with brighter colors. But then I found these. Oh, my goodness, these are the sweetest little prints. And they're little butterflies. We've got green butterflies and a multicolor. Look at those. Aren't those pretty? So you can bring in a lot of different colors. And then I found some pinks and, you know, just some different ones that I had. I'm sure there are more. But I wouldn't go with these purpley ones because they don't quite fit. I have some solids that would be neat. Actually, when I found this piece, the first pattern that I'm going to make is the little tote and the zippered pouch, basically. And I thought, oh, wouldn't that be pretty as a lining? And then, you know, I put this next to it, and my gosh, that makes me think of 70s retro. And it's like, that might be a bit much. But then I saw this. Oh, my goodness. How pretty would the lining of this be with that zipper and all those other colors? I think that would be beautiful. So this is kind of how I put together my ideas for adding different colors to any fabric collection that I'm working with. And I'm going to go ahead now and cut some fabrics and get started. And I'm going to show you what I'm making. I'm really excited about this. After cutting my squares, I sewed them all together and I chain stitched. And you can see how the thread carries over from each row to the next. So as I approach this row, I feed the other or the next fabric in, and I just sew over it, and I do my 5 rows, and then I sew all my blocks. Then what I do is I press them, and you can see the rows are going in every other direction, and that's going to help me nest the seams, which is what I want to show you now. Nesting your seams will make your blocks look so much nicer because they're going to fit better, they're going to lay flatter, and they'll be nice and square like this. You want your seams to join and meet up where they cross. And in order to do that, you just need to make sure that you line them up. And I'm going to cut this thread just so I can show you how this works. And I will put one on top, there we are, and the other on the bottom. So you can see how this one, the seam allowance faces that way, and the seam allowance in the back goes in the opposite direction. And when I open the seam, see how well those two line up right here. And what we want to do is sort of squeeze it between your finger and your thumb, and you will see and actually feel them touching. If there's a gap between the two seams, you're going to feel it in your fingers, and you'll know that you need to make an adjustment. So you can pin it at this point, which if you do, pin from this side or from the direction your needle will be coming. That way it won't flip the needle over, or excuse me, flip the thread over. So my machine is threaded and ready to go here. Let me just get my, there we go, pull my top thread down. So I'm going to align my blocks, and by holding this thread to the side, I'll eliminate any problems with my fabric getting tangled underneath. You know, sometimes when you start a new seam, your fabrics can bunch up on the bottom, and that's because this top fabric loops underneath. If you hold it over here, hold the tail of the thread on this side, you're not going to get that problem. And as you approach your pin, you want to go ahead and take it out. And let's see, I just want to get everything else in line here. And I'm going to sew over that one. Now, as soon as I sew over that seam, I want to check that my next one is okay. And if you're more comfortable with cutting it initially, if you've not done this before, that's fine. These seams won't unravel because they're being overstitched by this next crossing seam, and it'll hold everything in place. But this way you can fold it down and you can see how nicely they line up. So I'm going to come in a little bit, and I'm just going to, with my finger and thumb, kind of squeeze my way in here. Just make sure that there's no gap there, and you can always flip your fabric over and take a peek, and as long as it lines up, just keep on going. Now, it may seem a bit tedious at first if you've not done this before, but you're going to get the hang of it fast. You're going to be able to feel those seams come together just right. And like this one, I can feel it's thicker here than it should be, which tells me this top fabric is probably, the seam is on top of the other. Let me just trim this. And you see how this seam is a little more forward than that one? And I want that to come up next to it, not be on top of it. So if I just sort of ease this a little bit and tuck that in where I want it, and it's going to fit beautifully. Now, there will be times when they're going to be slightly off, and that's okay. Don't worry about that. The idea is that you're going to line them up, and they're going to look wonderful, and most all of them will be exactly the way they should be. Some will be a little off, and that's just the nature of quilting. We're not all perfect, and we don't have that expectation. And in my book, a finished quilted project is what I'm aiming towards. I'm not aiming towards perfection. Do I want it to look nice? Absolutely. Do I want to look like I know what I'm doing? You bet. So you're going to improve over time if you've not done this before, but let's take a quick peek. I want to show you how these look, and I'll hold it up close so you can see. All right, so this one I missed by, what is that, maybe a 1/16 of an inch? Now, look at that. Do you really notice it? No, because these whites come together and they sort of camouflage it. Now, this one came together pretty darn well. Look at that. Oh, yeah, that's a good one. Oh, this is perfection right there. Every once in a while, you get the one that is absolutely the way it's supposed to be. So what I'm showing you is you're going to have variations, and that's okay. And you just want to, do your best initially, and the more you do it, the better you're going to get at it. So I'm going to go ahead and finish these, get it pressed, and then I'm going to make my little bag. Oh, I'm excited about this little zippered pouch. It's adorable, and these colors are so pretty. I finished my little zipper pouch, and it came out adorable with the lining inside. I think it looks great. Now, at this point, the pattern shows that I can either leave it flat like this, or I can take off these corners. I can box the corners in so that it will, let me open this and show you. Easier said than done right here. So then it'll stand up like this and be more of like a tissue box or something like that. And I kind of like this right now, and I like seeing all the fabrics. I'm not really sure I want to cut those corners off because they're just such pretty little pieces. And you can see I just did very simple quilting, just some crosshatch corner to corner, going through the corners of each of the squares, which made it easy. Put the zipper in, and there it is. It looks wonderful. I did run across one problem with the pattern, and there was a typo with the size of these blocks. So my piece came out a little bit smaller than it should have, but all I did was add another row, and that worked out fine. So I ended up with just what I needed. And I did let Mrs. Quilty know so that it can get fixed in the next book. But if you happen to get this particular kit with this particular pattern, just know, watch out for your size here. And it seems pretty evident. I questioned it as I was cutting it, but I went ahead and said I'm just going to follow the pattern and see what happens. So either way, it'll come out smaller according to that, or you add the extra row like I did, and it worked out perfectly. Well, I am really excited about this box. The fabrics are wonderful. You can see I did add a few of my own. I showed you that, and it just kind of added a little more of a scrappy look to it. I'm kind of into my scrappy quilts lately, and all I used was, one little strip from each of these fabrics. So I have a lot more that I can use to make something wonderful. So that's going to be my next decision, what I'm going to make. But I love this. I think the value is fantastic. The price alone that you pay is going to be less than the standard price of just buying the fabric by itself. So getting the magazine with 5 different patterns, the fabric collection called Lemon Groove, and the little odds and ends, the little gifts in there, and the zippers included, everything you need. It's a great value. And if you're interested, there's a coupon down below. You get 20% off your first box. So that's even less that you have to pay. And I think you really enjoy it. This has been a lot of fun. So there we are. Have a fantastic rest of your day, everyone. Thanks for joining me.